We are joined today by Twitch partnered streamer PainInTheAxe, ESO Stream Team Member, Vape Champion,
fucking lung destroyer, whatever you want to call it.
As everybody said on Twitter to any post involving the podcast, no way, bro. So
no way, bro. There's no way I'm here, bro. That's crazy.
The first time I really ever interacted with Pain rated in while I was doing my second podcast with Sakar. It is the lesson I learned where you don't read things out loud before reading them first when somebody follows. Oh, thanks so much for the follow, PainInTheAxe. Appreciate the raid. Thanks for the follow. Pain buys gold ESO.
The story behind that is I was streaming earlier and this guy like follows the channel and is like Pain buys gold. You know, I give him a chance. I let him talk, you know, but like I was like, well, that looks like a permanent ban, you know, it looks like a Shadow Realm fucking account there, you know. He just starts being like, he said, oh, but I'm your #1 fan, dude. I love your stream. Like, please don't ban me. I was like, bro, look at your fucking name. It literally says Pain, but you're fucking accusing me of some shit. Oh. Yeah. But so I banned him. I permanently banned him for like 3 hours before I raided you. And then he was there the whole time. Like, he stayed the whole stream being permanently banned, hanging out on my channel. And then when we raided you, like, he fucking just followed you immediately. I was like, damn, that's some devotion on that guy right there, man. Like, who gets permanently banned from a channel and then, like, stays 3 hours, continues to watch, to wait to see who they raid, so they can fuck over the next person. You know what I mean? It's just like, wow. That was the first for me, man. Like, I've never had anybody stay that long after being banned.
Thank you again, Pain, for being here, for cracking open a beer, and just taking some time out of your day to have a chat.
Oh, yeah, boss. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I did notice that you started streaming back in 2017, kind of on and off there for a few years before you really kind of kicked it into high gear. It looks like May, June of 2019.
So those early days of streaming, I just got into the Marine Corps and I got stationed at one of my training bases to learn my job. So from there, I just tried streaming a bit because back then I had a lot of friends who were streaming like a lot of RuneScape and stuff. And they told me to stream, like, fuck it, I'll rate it. I was like, sure, I'll try it, man. Like, but it was ass. Like, my stream was not set up at all. It was just like, you know, pretty much like everybody's first stream, just like kind of just, you know, nobody knows what's going on. Like, you can't really read chat. Like, you don't have alerts, like all that stuff. So I got like a few big raids from some of my friends and just I didn't know what to do and I felt overwhelmed. So I was like, okay, I need to stop doing this. Like, I can't handle this like right now, especially with my time in my life. It wasn't until like 2019 when I started picking up streaming again because I was at my duty station. I was bored. I was living out in town. Like, I didn't really want to go out and just like waste my money on stuff. I was like gaming a lot. I was still playing a lot of Elder Scrolls Online. So I was like, you know what? I'm a pretty decent PvPer. Like, why don't I just try streaming this, you know? So I did it, and I just kept doing it consistently. I didn't really expect anything out of it. I was just having fun, just like going around slaying people. Eventually, the community started to pick up. I had some name recognition just from being in the PvP scene to begin with. But so I gained some traction through that. Started networking with a lot of other streamers, you know, like just hanging out with them, sending them raids, even if it was like 2 or 3, just hanging out, you know. Not really expecting anything back, but eventually it just kind of caught on and it blew up from there. It wasn't until like I'd say like August, September 2019 when like I started like, you know what, I like this. I'm gonna just keep doing it. I'm gonna like invest in streaming and keep trying it. Yeah, that's pretty much how I started. It was after I got declined for partner for the first time. I was a little bit bummed, but you know, everyone gets declined for partner at the beginning. So I went on deployment in January 2020 for like about 6 months, and I didn't come back until around like May and started streaming around June again. And when I got back, I was like, I'm going all in. I'm going for partner. I'm going to push hard, and I'm going to invest like every waking moment that I have for free time, like outside of the Marine Corps, into streaming. And that's when I kind of made more of a career out of this. It got me into the position where I am now, where I can now fully EAS from the Marine Corps and pushing for full-time stream. Right now, I'm taking a bit of a risk doing it, but I want to do it. Like, if I don't capitalize on it now, then it's never going to happen. Like, this is my time to fucking shine.
Yeah, and you actually brought up a lot of good points there. So I want to circle back to just a kind of a couple of them. The big one I actually like to talk about quite a bit is communities you're already genuinely a part of, whether it's ESO PvP, your friends, you know, things like that. Actually letting them know what you're doing and inviting them in from the beginning. And it looks like that's something you did that really kind of helped you get affiliated, at least kind of like get that little jump boost to start with.
Exactly. Like, the PvP scene is extremely small, like within the high-end PvPers. Like, everybody, like a lot of people PvP, but a lot of people don't PvP to that like extremely high, like dueling level, 1vx level. and I was already in that scene before I even started streaming. So I already had like the know-how and the mechanical skill to like kind of pull off that kind of content and like actually perform on stream to the point where I don't have to focus 100% in the game because it just feels natural to me. Like I just like pressing the buttons is secondary. Like I already know what I'm gonna do like about 5 to 6, maybe even 10 seconds before I even do it in the game. So that gives me time to like literally like not even look at, I can be PvPing and not even looking at my screen. You know, I'd be talking to people or like chatting. So like it gave me that like interaction of the viewers, which is something I noticed that ESO, so a lot of ESO streamers don't do. Is like they're so tunneled into the game, they'll let their chat roll by and like they'll get to it when they have a chance. Like, no, I don't want to be like that. I'm decent enough at the game where I can do what I'm doing and still read and I still perform and not like, you know, get wrecked every 5 seconds. Like, do I screw up? Of course, everyone screws up, but like having that fast interaction, like immediate like response to like people was something that people really liked about my streams in the beginning too.
Having that break and then coming back, do you think that gave you the ability to like really jump in fresh?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely did help me because like it gave me time to like step back and like study other streamers. Honestly, like the thing, like you got to go to like everybody's stream and like take what you like, and if you like it, apply it to yours and see if it works. Even if you don't like it, don't take it. But also something that's really valuable is to watch people that you necessarily don't like. If they're like successful, like kind of take from that anyway, you know, but add your own kind of like twist into it.
Seems like music plays like an important role in your life or maybe just in your stream. So I was just curious, like where that comes from.
Well, music's important to me. I was in band all through elementary school to high school. Like I played in everything, like from, you know, symphonies to like wind ensembles. I did marching band. So like I'm very musically inept. I really love music. Like I've even studied music theory when I was in high school. Like they didn't offer it as an AP course when I was going through my high school, but eventually they did because there was such an interest within like the band suits and whatnot. But I took it on my own time, like on my own hours to like study music theory. I wish I could recall a lot of the stuff I learned from back then, but fortunately it's been like 7 years, so like I don't remember everything. But like I would literally sit at home and like just look up stuff, like learn different types of scales, like different kind of like things in music theory, and it's very interesting. And when I hear certain stuff in the music that like really catches my eye, like talk about it and hear it, or like when it goes from like a piano to like a forte, like I always like on my stream deck I'll like turn up the volume at certain parts and I'll turn it down certain parts so that we get a full effect for the music so everybody gets to enjoy it just like a little bit more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely really adds to the atmosphere of your channel. So that's why I kind of figured you must have like more of a musical background than just wanting to play the music. So that's really, again, that's a really unique thing. I really appreciate how unique your stream is. That kind of rolls into another question I have is, did you have any like inspirations when you got into streaming?
Absolutely. So one who's my biggest inspiration, like we literally spam his emotes every day in chat. Like I use all his better TTV stuff, his custom stuff, is Bodhi. He's an old school RuneScape streamer. He plays the same kind of style as music that I'm into. He's like really fast interaction, very intelligent. Like when he talks, very good at the game. Like he'll explain everything that he's doing, and he's just got he's got a hilarious chat. Like it's hilarious. Like some of the people in there. If you haven't seen Bodhi, you need to check him out. Even if you don't know anything about fucking RuneScape, you can have a great time in that stream. Like it doesn't matter about the game. Like it's just perfect vibe. No matter if you're all the time, it's just happy energy, good energy. I love it.
How do your goals change? Like once you're a partner, how do your goals shift? Because a lot of goals could be get affiliate, you get the number to apply, get partner, and then after that there's still so much growth to do. And I'm just curious how your goals have shifted and what your kind of goals are now.
As far as the goals I want to do, I just want to just continue growing like as a streamer, you know, like try different like kind of content. Like something I'm experimenting a lot more is more like kind of in real life vlogging. So I'll go outside and I'll just stream my life and just explore places with the stream and show them like yesterday I literally went down to the beach and streamed the whole thing and we had a great time. It was fun. Showed them pretty much where I grew up, some of the places I like to like go hang out. And they just get to learn. It's like a more personal experience. They get to learn about me. So that's something I'd really like to do because it also encourages fitness too. Because like if I'm walking around like talking around on my phone, I'm getting a little bit of a workout too. So it's good for me. It's good for the stream, and it's good for my mental health too. Because I'm not just stuck behind a screen, just pressing buttons, like yelling at zerglings or whatever. I get to go outside and, you know, experience life. So I think that's the kind of content I might be shifting more towards in the future as well.
Kind of rolling back to Elder Scrolls Online now, that's the primary game you play. Obviously, you're getting more into doing IRL streams. You've done RuneScape and a handful of other games, but your bread and butter really has been, like you mentioned, Elder Scrolls Online. What brought you to ESO? I know you were already playing it before you started streaming, but I'm always just kind of curious, like, what was your like initial like introduction to it?
So I've been a big Elder Scrolls fan, like, God, since I was in middle school. I remember begging my parents to buy me an Xbox 360 so I can play Oblivion when it came out. And they were like, we can't get you an Xbox because there's a lot of bad games on there. Like, I have those kind of parents. Like, like, there's a lot of, shoot 'em up, gory games on Xbox. I was like, Mom, but please, I want to play this game. It's so cool. So they eventually came. They got me an Xbox 360. And the first game I got was Oblivion, and I literally got lost into that game. Like, I just played it like all the time. Oblivion was my very first Elder Scrolls game. So good. And I completed everything. I literally had an account where I did every single quest, every single exploration thing. I cleared every dungeon. I went to everything, got done. And then one of my favorite things I do would always piss my dad off. Because once I completed a game, I'd go around the whole map and just kill everybody. I'd slaughter every single NPC that was able to be killed. And I'd go into every house and knock over all the books, like all to make their house all a mess. And I'd see how like long my bounty would get. And when finally I killed everybody and done everything, like the whole area was just nuked. There was like a ghost town except for like guards that respawn and the NPCs that don't die. I would go to jail. And I would see how many years in the future my character got put into. Like, I think it was like 300 years. I was like in like the fucking 5th era or some shit because of my crimes, dude. And I just walk around the ghost town to see everything all fucked up, and I felt so proud. And then I played a shit ton of Skyrim. And then they announced Elder Scrolls Online. I was like, fuck it, dude, I'll play that too. And I got lost in the ESO. Got into the PvP scene as early as I could and just loved it. Stuck with it.
You mentioned jumping right into like the PvP scene, and so I'm curious if you could talk, before talking about Battlegrounds, talk about Cyrodiil IC, kind of the open world PvP, because I know when it's bad, it's real bad, but when it's good, it's like the best thing there is.
It really is. That's what brings me back every time. Like, Cyrodiil open world is one of the most attractive things like you could put into a game. Like open world PvP, where you can just be out there and fighting anybody, and just you can be fighting a 1-on-1 fight, you can fight a 1-on-2, 1-on-3, 1-on-4, 1-on-5, and even the fact that the potential to come out of that 1-on-5 and still get the win if you play like mechanically smart and just know what you're doing, and like target the right guys and kill them. And this is all speaking if performance is on top of the game, like you're not worried about performance issues. Like, if that's all into play, it's like one of the best like adrenaline rushes, like dopamine things you can get. Just like, yeah, I just bested 5 dudes. Like these 5 brains just fucking lost in my one Papega Chad brain. Like, hell yeah, dude. So it's just so attractive in the game.
I know on one of my streams you had mentioned hoping they were going to add more like world PvP, but I just like to get obviously veterans' takes on what they like to see. Obviously, we're not ZOS, can't actually put in too much input as to what they will and won't do, but just like in a perfect world where they came to you and said, Pain, what should we put into PvP? What would you like to see them add?
I would tell, like, they're all worried about, like, we don't want to add any PvP content because Cyrodiil isn't performing. And I'm like, that's fair. I get it. Let's not add anything to Cyrodiil. But you have 2 other areas where PvP is doing fine. You have Battlegrounds and you have Imperial City. Why not expand on those? Like, why don't we get new Battleground maps every so often? Like, we're able to push out 2 new dungeons almost every DLC or chapter. So why don't we take some time? Maybe do like 1 dungeon, because we have like 48 dungeons or more right now. We don't need another dungeon, really. It's fine. Why don't we add a new Battleground map and Battleground game mode or something? Let's start doing that as a trend. Imperial City, let's do an overhaul. I mean, they kind of did it with the coming patch, which I'm very happy about. So in Blackwood, the top side bosses in IC are going to drop monster sets, which is very cool. I'm very happy for that. But I still think we need to incentivize IC a bit more. Like Telvar, you can get some good stuff from it. But 1, the cost of Telvar is way too high in some of the merchants and whatnot. And 2, why don't we just like increase the amount of Telvar you get anyway? That would bring a lot more people to IC. And honestly, Imperial City, every time we have an IC event, the PvP there is amazing. There's 0 performance issues. It can be locked on all sides, like AD, DC, and EP, fully locked out. I have 0 problems with performance in Imperial City. Very rarely I ever fucking talk bad about Imperial City performance, because it's pretty flawless for the most part. And so we need to expand on these areas where there's not a lot of problems in. But hold off on Cyrodiil, that's fine. Give Cyrodiil a break. We'll focus on the performance on that. let's add some content in other areas. Well, how about like another idea? Let's add a battleground for like smaller scale fights. Like we can do a one-on-one battleground, right? We can do a 2v2 battleground, maybe even 3v3, and even larger battlegrounds. We can go up to 8v8, 12v12. You can have guild on guild. I think that'd be very cool. Custom battleground maps could be a thing too, where you just pair up with some friends and you can do some like in-house tournaments. Because a lot of the tournaments and like events for PvP are player run. Legend Guild, Fight Club, both dueling guilds. They run dueling events all the time. And I participated in almost every single one of them. And with my availability is there. They're a lot of fun. They're very competitive. And they have a pretty good rule set. You know, we had to make some tweaks because sometimes some rules got a little bit broken and then caused a lot of problems and there was a lot of debate and whatnot. But you know what? Players have put in the effort. There's a community for this. It may be a kind of smaller community, but if we actually added some incentive and a game-wide arena to do this kind of content, I guarantee you people are going to hop in on it because they just don't know about it for the most part. They don't know these communities exist. Give them a means to like try it out on their own before they like come out and do these larger like tournaments that like I participated in, like Legend and whatnot. It's something they should really focus on, and I think it would bring a lot of good content, a lot of new like PvPers to the game.
Can you talk a bit about Battlegrounds as somebody who does a lot of PvP about how that like three-way mechanic works and how you like or dislike the Battlegrounds?
Three-way is good, but I don't think it should be the only option because when you have a three-way fight, it just opens up a lot of teams to being able to third party. And you never really get to truly understand which team is like the best because there's always that like third side kind of poking in at the other two, like when they're doing something. They may be able to snipe kills, and I get it. It's a tactical thing. You have to be aware of it, but I'd say keep the mode how it is as an option, but like add the other modes like I was talking about, like 2-on-2, 4-on-4, not 4v4v4. Like just add different modes over time. You know. It gives more variety to the game mode, and it could add like a lot more competitive scene for Elder Scrolls Online. Something we'd never really had in ESO is a competitive scene for PvP, and we haven't even really had one for PvE as well. I mean, we have leaderboards, but there's world records, but like I couldn't tell you what the world record is, you know, because there's no way for me to like look at it. Like add a separate leaderboard saying, like this is the world record for everything of all time, not just like the weekly or whatever it is, you know.
Not just the one that resets, but actually like a permanent kind of like record board of things. I agree. One of my favorite things in PvE is the arenas.
I love the arenas. I'm actually rank 1 Dragon Knight for veteran patron right now. Oh, wow. So I've done my share of arenas and everything. I think that kind of content's amazing. I think we should get more arenas like that over time. I know they take a lot of development time and whatnot to like make it mechanically fair and everything. But we only got 2, and it was good they added Vatestrin, but like when you just bounce between Vatestrin and Maelstrom back and forth, it's just kind of like gets older, you know what I mean? I do think solo arenas are a great test of your mettle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why I agree with you. That would be great to see in PvP. Also, like you said, having more options or being able to just queue up with your team versus another team.
That would be great. We tried that with Battlegrounds a few months back. We had a Battleground tournament. Fortunately, I was not able to participate, but I watched it. And it was extremely hard to even, like, I don't even think it went through all the way. They only got a few rounds, and it took hours and hours to get, like, all the teams queued into the same battleground because they got their 4-man. They made sure they were all in similar, like, matchmaking rating, which isn't public, by the way. It's something they should do. Add an MMR system that's public because we all know the MMR exists. But they say they don't add it because it could add toxicity, which makes not much sense to me at all. Just add the MMR scenes, we all can see where everybody lines up in battlegrounds and whatnot. But if we had custom BGs, they'd be able to do that tournament without any problems. They just all accept the invite and they go into their battleground, they duke it out, and there would be another great player-run tournament. You know, it would have been awesome. But because of the long wait times, we couldn't get that done properly. So it's just something they should think about. You know?
Yeah, it would be really good, and I hope eventually, like they do listen to community feedback and they add stuff. Obviously, it's been a long time since they've added, like you said, PvP stuff because of the issues with Cyrodiil. But yeah, with Battlegrounds being for the most part stable, I think things like that really add. Because again, this game, what makes it amazing to me has always been how community driven it is. Yes, we have all the amazing dungeons and arenas, trials, Cyrodiil, IC, all these things that are provided by ZOS. But then we run our own housing contests, our own fashion contests, our own races against each other to clear veteran stuff, our, various different things that, like you said, dueling tournaments. So adding
Yeah.
more ways for players to run stuff, like you said, being able to run a tournament like that and just be able to queue up with no wait times would be amazing, especially for a community like ESO. I feel that is so community driven.
Exactly. I think ZeniMax, they've done a good job of community events and stuff, like game events and all that. But I challenge ZeniMax to become more community involved actively in the game, you know, with like, exactly, like during tournaments, events, housing events, like arena speedrun challenges for like the week or something. Like whoever gets this will get like a certain prize or whatever, and they showcase it or whatever, you know, like send in like a recording of your house tour. Because I get it, they can't like stream all of that on the Bethesda channel or whatever, but it's like how people send in stuff like a housing tour, and whatever one is the best, like that gets a prize or something. They become more community oriented, because this community is so tight niche that they won't have a problem of getting people sending submissions for any of these events. You know, I think that'd be a really cool idea, even if it's just like recognition on their like website or whatever. It doesn't have to be like a prize or something. It could be a pride thing. You know what I mean?
And I also just want to take a
Exactly.
minute here. We're spitballing a lot of like suggestions and things we think would be cool. In no way do I want anybody to think we're like shitting on ESO. Obviously, this is a game that we all love. That's why we're in the directory.
When we're giving like suggestions of like, oh, that's shitting on the game, it's like, no, you're dead ass wrong. See, shitting on the game is when you just highlight the negative aspects of it, but offer zero solution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people like you and me, we offer solutions to problems. So if we offer a good solution, I think what help is that shitting on it. No, it's like it's called constructive criticism. You know, it's like we're trying to make this game that we love like better, and we're just piecing some things together in our head to come up with a better solution. So like I don't see that as shitting on the game ever. So if anybody ever tells you specifically that you're shitting on the game, they're dead ass wrong, and they should be told that they're dead ass wrong. You know.
I'm glad you actually articulated that. Sometimes I struggle with the correct articulation for that. But you recently got accepted to the ESO Stream Team, which is really, really cool. It's cool to see them adding a few more names. Like they added Bra We Got This, Ms. Radcore, yourself, along with promoting Jay Hard Ellis to partner. I thought those were all four just like phenomenal choices. Can you talk kind of about the process, not of getting selected or anything like that, because that's the decision they make after looking at content, but what made you decide, hey, I've done this game for a long time, I love this game, I'm going to shoot my shot and try to become part of the stream team?
So I've applied many times before in the past, but I just don't think my channel was at the point to like get put on there. I felt like recently, like now I'm at a point where very decently well known in the ESO category. I have a very different niche from a lot of the team members, and it was something I wanted to bring to the team. So my niche in that sense was like dueling 1v1 and a lot of 1vx. There's definitely a lot of 1vx streamers on the team and whatnot, some PvPers and whatnot, but like not very many of them are actually duelers. So dueling is something I focus on a lot. Like if I'm just waiting for battlegrounds or whatever, I'll just go hang out in Stormhaven and duel people, and I'll show people like, oh, this is what you do when you're dueling. You know, you got to watch out for this. You got to do this. You know, you got to be careful. You know, like this is when you're gonna want to use your ultimate. You don't want to burn your ultimate to start a fight, because then like you've only laid out all your cards on the table. You need to like use it at a tactful time to get that secure that one kill. So I put that in my application, saying like my niche is about like one-on-one combat. You know, I'm very well known in the dueling scene. I go to tournaments, and I'm a very competitive player in that sense. But I've also have a lot of variety in the game. I'm a long-time player. Like I've done almost all forms of content except for a lot of like the DLC trials, which is something I'm working on right now. I've been holding off on like joining a progression group for a lot of these trials just because one, I had to move across the country, so that was gonna get away in the way of you know, doing the raid times and actually getting into the group to learn everything and figuring out what everybody does and what to do at certain points. So that's coming soon. But I just felt it was a good time for me to apply again and lay out my cards. And luckily for me, they did take me. I was very happy about that. I feel like we're going to be a good representation of the PvP community for the team. And I'm very grateful. I'm very happy to work with ZeniMax and you know, access to the exclusive giveaways and everything, and help out the community in my stream and everything. So I'm very proud to be part of the team.
And that's why I really think they do, in fact, work really well with the community. Big shout out to Gina and anybody else that's on her team, because it is well-rounded. When you look at a lot of partnered teams and stream teams for other games, not all games, there's some other companies who do a really good job. Sometimes it's just who are the biggest people who applied, they're the team, and it doesn't really matter about where they're spread out in the world, what their demographics are, what they do in the game. It's just, this is our biggest people. Whereas they have people of varying sizes. Obviously, you have to be a certain size where you're actually connected deep with the community and things like that. But at the same time, like you said, they brought you on because you're a PvPer. They have other PvPers, but you're involved with the dual scene.
Exactly. There's something for everybody on the team, and that's what's awesome about it. And I also like how they don't just like, oh, well, this guy has 20 billion followers, so he's the one, he applied, the next guy doesn't, so we're going to take him. Like, no, that's not how they work. Like, they take you based on your merit. They take you based on your knowledge of the game, and like make sure obviously you're not like a crazy person, you know, you can't be a fucking psycho or anything, but there's any of that, like all that shit, you know what I mean? Because like, it's just good how they have like different kind of variety of people on there. It makes it a very solid team. I think that's something cool that this company does. Like, they do care about the streamers. Like, if you actually have, even if you're not on the team, like even before I was on the team, if I ever had a problem, like with like anybody in game or something in game, I could message Gina and she'd do her best to like resolve it. You know, not saying like, oh, we're just gonna ban them or something. They just figure it out. You know what I mean? They'd help you out. They give you advice. Like, you don't have to be on the team to like get support from the company, which is nice.
And sticking with community, kind of shifting away from ZeniMax themselves into like the Twitch community. Maybe it's not true of everybody, but for the majority of people, your level doesn't necessarily matter to people. Like, bigger streamers will interact with medium streamers or smaller streamers. There's a lot of interaction in the community if you're genuinely part of the community.
Honestly, I don't give a shit about like anybody's view count. Honestly, if I enjoy the stream and I think they're a cool guy, I'll hang out in there. I don't feel like just because like I'm at a certain point and they're like still like learning and whatnot doesn't mean I can't come in there and hang out with them and have fun, you know? Like, everybody kind of knows everybody in this category, because like we're like a medium to small category overall on Twitch. We're just extremely tight, and I see it. I don't see anybody on here as a competitor. I see everybody here as my friend, you know. And they're also just like work buddies, you know. Like, hey, what are you doing? Like, how's your stream going? Like, I'll shout out almost everybody that comes to my stream as long as I know they stream for the most part, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to like put my neck out on the line for somebody I appreciate and like. Like, I'll say, yeah, guys, go check them out. I enjoy their stream. They're a good time.
Yeah. So
it's just like, because that's what people did for me when I was growing. Like, they did the same thing for me. Like, I come in there and I felt like a little bit awkward when I come in. They're like, oh shit, that's not what I wanted or anything, you know? But I just want to come out and hang out. They're like, no, dude, everyone go over there. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. But it's just something like a lot of the Elder Scrolls guys do for each other. It's like we take care of each other.
I think because we are, like you said, a smaller medium category on Twitch, helping out, checking out streams of smaller streamers who might be really good, just haven't like caught on yet. Or even if they're just starting out, being able to give some advice, like things like that really does benefit the category, because since we are all friendly with each other, we're all able to like reach out. Like you said, you've stuck your neck out for smaller streamers and stuff like that. It really does, I think, lead to the overall category growing, which in the end benefits everybody in the category.
Benefits everyone. It's fun to watch the new guys grow and blossom too. Like, that's something I like. It's like, you know, you just help them get to where they needed to be like a lot faster, you know? Like, they would get there anyway, even if you help them or not. Because if they're a successful streamer, they're going to get there one way or another. It may take them longer or take them really fast. It doesn't really matter, you know? Just being a part of that growth cycle is just something I like to be a part of in the Elder Scrolls category. It's just fun to see people grow from like kind of that novice level to like the medium to like a higher level.
Sometimes if you play a game long enough, if you do the same thing long enough, you can end up feeling like you're pigeonholed or burned out, feeling like it's more of a chore than a game. Is that something that you really kind of fall into, or do you like already have kind of things you do to stave off any form of like burnout with the game?
I mean, yeah, I definitely feel it. Even with ESO, like right now, I'm getting a little burnt out of just playing Mag DK and Stand DK. So I was like, what can I do? Keep myself like engaged with the game. Like right now, I'm leveling a Mag Blade. You know, I'm doing Battlegrounds. I'm learning a new class and trying that out. So when I get like too tired of something on ESO, I'll play something different and just give my shot at it. And I'm having a lot of fun. Like I was literally just doing Mag Blade for the last like 3 hours before we did this podcast, and it's entertaining. Like I enjoy the play style and it's fun. But if that doesn't do it for me, then yeah, then I'll switch games. Yeah, Mag Blade best class, right, Zaji? But yeah, like, if I'm really like not feeling it, like I'll switch games. Like I'll go play RuneScape on stream, or some days I don't even start with RuneScape if I really don't even feel like logging in or whatever. You know, I have the freedom to play any game I want and not have to worry about like, oh, my partner members are gonna get hurt. So that's the best part about when you make partner. Like you don't have to, like, that stress is kind of like gone. But if you're really trying to push for partner, I think it's important that you just gotta, like, there's definitely days I felt burnt when I was pushing for partner, like on ESO and whatnot. It's like, how badly do you want it, you know? It's like, do you want to make it there on the platform? Do you want to get verified or what? So you have to just kind of push through it, just find it within yourself and get past like the hardship. Just like any job, really. Like, you're not gonna have a good day every day, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta like power through it and just embrace the suck. The most important thing is not to get trapped in like, oh no, like woe is me, like I want more people to support me, but like me, like just crying about it. You know, it's like if you want more people to support you and you feel like they aren't doing it, like you need to ask the hard questions. Like something that I was told to me from one of my friends who stream a lot, like when I'm actually gonna go meet later today, once later in the night. He used to stream a lot back in the day. But one thing he always told me is, it's a little harsh, but like always just assume that you are the problem, not anybody else. It's you, you know, because nobody else is running your channel but you. So if something's not clicking, it's probably you. You know, nobody else is doing this. It's when it comes to streaming, it's just you, because this is your job. You know, nobody else is gonna make you successful except for yourself.
You have to focus on the things you control. You can't control who's going to follow you and not follow you. You can't control if someone's going to rage you or not going to rage you. You can't control.
Even with raids, that's the thing. They say, oh, like people think like, oh, if I get a raid from this person, I'm going to be fine. Like, no, like they can raid you if like I could get raided with 1,000 people, but if like I'm shit, like, you know, they're all going to leave. You know, everyone's going to fucking leave unless they're just already AFK or whatever, and then like, you know, they're not going to, you know, interact with you or do anything with your channel when you go offline or anything. It's just how it is. Like, you just have to be the best you can be, and nobody is going to do that except for you.
And something you mentioned way back at the start was networking. You didn't use the exact term networking, but networking is exactly how Pain described it back at the start of the podcast, which is joining communities in a genuine way, getting to know somebody in a genuine way without expectations. I think that's why networking is a bad word. People think networking means just joining a Discord and dropping repeated, like, going lives and never saying anything.
That doesn't work. Honestly, even dropping your stream in a Discord and a self-promo channel, I guarantee you that it's not going to really work, because like honestly, I don't check those things. You know, I don't look at those things. When I find streamers I like, I actually browse the category and I watch them. You know, I don't click on a self-promo channel or anything. You know, I go and find them on my own, and if I enjoy them, I stay, and I'll follow, and I'll stay and I'll hang out with them. You know what I mean?
If I see somebody who's like interacting all the time on Discord, interacting in other people's chats and in the ESO community, and I know that person, and they post in there, I go, oh, I didn't even know they streamed. So sometimes those channels are like, oh, I didn't know this person streamed. Cool. And but that person's already been like, I've seen him on your stream, and I see him on Ella's stream, and I see him around the community, and they're in different Discords, and like, I've gotten to know them. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to go support that person. That's because they've just genuinely joined the community, not expecting anything. Just
exactly. Like I always scroll down to the bottom of USO too, with the category, just to see like who's like down there and who's streaming, like who's some new talent I can go watch. You know, someone new. And like sometimes the ones that catch my eye are the ones that've been in my stream. Like, wait, I know that name. Let me click on that one. You know. It's like they never like went in my channel and said, hi, I'm a streamer, follow me. You know, they never were cringe about it or anything. I was like, oh shit, like that's one of my homies. Let's go watch him, you know? So that's how that works, you know? Even that like helps, you know? I mean, I think My Tato is like actually a good example of that, because I didn't know My Tato stream for a while, and then one time I was just browsing the categories, like, holy shit, that's My Tato. I'm gonna go follow her, you know? Because it's like she's just been a homie like the stream. She was never cringe about it. She never went to my channel and said like, oh, I'm a streamer, like fucking sub to me or anything. You know what I mean? Like all that weird shit that people do sometimes. Like that's just like annoying. Like that's a good way to get people to not like come after you, unless like, you know, it's instigated from the content creator. It's like, oh yeah, this guy, you check him out, like that's something. But you never should just say first message is like, come to my stream, you know? Like I get that all the time on my channel, and people get mad at me too when I ban them. Like, I'm like, well, bro, it's just weird, you know? It's just like your very first message is like, I'm streaming. Like, who are you, bro? Like, what? So it's not the right way to go about it or anything, you know what I mean?
Next, I kind of wanted to move away from like the games and the content you make on Twitch. Now that you're kind of like going full tilt at Twitch, if you're also kind of looking at other platforms to maybe make content on.
I want to do more YouTube, but I just get discouraged sometimes when I'm recording my voice, because like I'm pretty sure you do a lot of YouTube, so whenever you record, you probably hear your own voice and you're like, oh, that's terrible, I got to re-record it. Like I get caught in that cycle where I just keep re-recording. I'm like, well shit, it's been an hour and a half and I keep fucking this up. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll try again tomorrow. That's something that I have a problem with, and I need to get over it. because like maybe I'm just like so nitpicky about myself that it keeps me from like growing on the YouTube platform, because I just can't get over that for the fact that's something I need to work on personally. And then people keep begging me for like to make a build video and make this video. I'm like, I can't, bro. But that's something I need to work on. I need to fucking man up and just say like, screw it. Even if the video is kind of like, you know, mediocre, fuck it, put it out there, learn from it. You know, that's something I probably should work on. You know, now that you mentioned that, it kind of just like put it back in my head that I just need to like do that. I might try to just like put that out in a week or something. Just make a build video. 1vx montage would be a good idea, like Mr. Christoph said. So that would be easy to do. I just pull that from the stream. I just expect so much of myself that I want to make the video as good as possible, that like I just forget that there's a whole learning phase I have to go through when it comes to video editing and everything, because it's a whole other world. Like when you're live and broadcasting, you don't have to edit anything. You're just you just stream. You have your like little setup. I have my stream deck. I press buttons and it changes everything for me. When it comes to video editing, it's a skill. You need to master that.
It's a whole new skill set, like you said, and you just have to, like you said, embrace the suck and kind of every time you make a video get a little bit better. I throw that out there because it has translated. It's only been a couple people, but I have had 2 or 3 people who said, oh, I saw your interviews on YouTube, so I decided to come say hi. So
yeah, it helps. Everything works intertwined, and honestly, good on you for even doing it. You know, it's a hard thing to do. That's why I haven't been able to do it yet, because 1, I've just been so distracted with stuff, and 2, I just can't go over that fact. But I need to take my own advice sometimes, you know, and just like you said, embrace the suck. Just put it out there, even if it's kind of like whatever, like mediocre video. You know, it's there as a learning tool. You can go back and rewatch that video over and over and over and over again. It's like, okay, I didn't like that. How do I make that like not suck? You know.
We already kind of talked about the fact that you're jumping in kind of full time with content creation. So I'm kind of curious, jumping in full time, how's that going to affect your schedule? Do you plan to like streaming more, or is it just about like being able to put more of your time when you're not streaming into like thinking about your plans, or just kind of how are you going to approach this, like basically this whole new world of having a lot more free time to put into this?
It's a bit of both. So mainly like a lot of that's going to come to with Blackwood. Like I'm going to have like a lot of new content to explore when Blackwood comes out for ESO. So like when Blackwood comes out, I'm planning to at least do like a 24-hour. Like I'm going to start a few hours before the patch goes live. I'm going to be like one of the first ones on, experience everything right off the bat. There's going to be a lot of new things to do. And also I'm kind of like scouting my area out in real life, just for like different areas I want to go to take the stream for like some of my IRL like vlogging and stuff. Because I live in a very great area to like go around and do some touristy stuff. So the streaming experience, like I'm like an hour away from Los Angeles. I'm an hour away from San Diego. There's a lot of like little niche areas in my my city that I can go to. And I'm actually doing like, I want to do more like fitness things too. Like I'm going to be getting a bicycle, and I want to do this stream where I literally get on my bicycle and I take a whole day streaming, and I just ride around like the entirety of my city on a bike. Like it has like a lot of beach roads and like the inner city, like the downtown area, into like the more residential like area off in the east side of the city. It's quite a large city, so I want to go like a whole bike ride around like my area. So I'm planning for that. I'm gonna be doing a lot of cool things like that, just like experiencing life and taking the stream with me to enjoy it. It's just so like it's just that much better, you know, because I think everything in life is better when you experience it with someone. And why not experience it with like this amazing Twitch community that we've created?
If you could go back and talk to yourself when you were starting out, or if a new streamer came to you, or like somebody's just starting out, what's like one piece of advice you'd give to them?
Well, number one thing is always to have fun, especially when you're streaming. Just like have fun. 2, don't worry about numbers at the start. Don't care about numbers. Just like have fun. And number 3, treat your stream, even if you have nobody in there, like, and when you're just starting, nobody's in there like listening or whatever, treat your stream like a YouTube video, which is kind of ironic for me to say, because I always like, you know, I don't like recording, but like I don't have to go back and listen to it. It's the thing when I'm streaming live. Treat it like a YouTube video. Talk about what you're doing, even if you know that nobody's listening. Talk about what you're doing, explain it, you know, have fun, and just enjoy it. You know, eventually, like, people are gonna catch on. Even if you're just sitting there talking to yourself, you never know who's actually listening. Someone may pop out and say, "Hey, what's up?" Like, "Oh, that's really cool." And then bam, there you go. You have someone to talk to. Like, work with them. You know, talk with them, and then keep moving on from there. That's how you build an audience. How you build a community. Just show them who you are. Don't be fake. Like, be who you are. Don't try to pretend to be anybody else, because like eventually that's going to come out anyway that you're not that person, and they're going to see you as like a fraud. You know, just be you. People are going to love you for who you are.
What's next for you, like in the very immediate future?
More consistent and longer streams. Like now that I transitioned from, you know, being a Marine for the last 4 years into a full-time content creator. So apart from just more consistency, and longer times and hours, maybe back on, like I said earlier, trying to get back more onto YouTube, make some build videos, make some like ESO YouTube content, continue with the vlogging, and just having more life exposure out in the real world with my streams.
Where can people find you on Twitch and on the internet?
So again, you can find me on twitch.tv/PainInTheAxe. On YouTube, it's just going to be PainInTheAxe as well. Again, content's coming there soon. And as the times of streamings, they vary. Usually I'm live by around 12 PST, like middle of the day, 12 PST. And I'll go anywhere from like 4 to like 8 or 9 hours a day, probably longer coming up soon. And that's 7 days a week. Like there's rarely a day I miss a stream. Like even when I was in the Marine Corps, there was rarely a day I missed a stream or a day or any of those times. So I'm usually live 7 days a week.
Other than the deployment, there's very minimal missed days.
Yeah, I literally I dedicated all my free time to making Twitch and streaming career for me. Like every moment was all my free time was put into Twitch and becoming a content creator. That's how much I wanted it. Like I could have gone out and done plenty more things, but this is what I wanted most out of everything in the last like 2 years. Like as soon as I started doing it more consistently, I was like, I would never give this up. Like I want to make it. I want to become something like better than myself on here.
That's great, because that's what you have to do. It's like you said, it's all on you when you're a streamer at the end of the day. So you have to like bet on yourself. Thank you really so much again for joining us for the podcast, just to kind of sit down, have a conversation. I think it's very beneficial for the people who listen to it, but it's also because we have this finite resource called time. It's not very often I can get together with another streamer where I'm not just chatting with them on their chat or on a Discord and have this conversation. So really, really appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Absolutely. It was an absolute pleasure. And thank you so much for having me on, Mr. Loctavian. It's really cool how you're doing this with a lot of people. It's very awesome.